Hey guys, Omerko here, self-taught web developer. I realized that in the past I didn't work a lot with Node.js at all, so today I will do a bit of work on that topic, and also we will work well with NodeMailer, which is Node.js module. So let me first talk a bit about NodeMailer. NodeMailer is a module created for Node.js and it is out there for almost 10 years. Now, after 10 years, NodeMailer is pretty easy to use and even junior developers could really simply use it. NodeMailer is mainly used to create and send emails through different services on different recipients. So what we cannot do on the front-end side, we could just simply create a small script for the back-end side with Node.js and use NodeMailer to send our emails. So for example, I could have my own portfolio website or some landing page that I'm running, right? And on that page I could have a simple form that is submittable. By submitting that form, I could run this script to use NodeMailer and create that sender or transporter, how it's called in NodeMailer, and send my form, the data of the form, to my email itself. There are a lot of different use cases, and here you can see the whole documentation of the NodeMailer. Down below we could see the simple example, and there is a lot more on the left side. We could see the whole usage. SMTP transport, how we could use that as a host, not the service. Then we have the plugins that NodeMailer supports, which is totally great, right? And we could have some extra modules that NodeMailer also supports and work with those. For today's video, we will focus just on the NodeMailer and sending that email from our Node.js script to our, well, mail itself. So I will start with fresh project here. So first of all, what I need to create is app.js, which will be Node.js file that we will use to create this NodeMailer script for sending the email itself. We won't have any UI here, so it will be just this file with a small amount of code inside just to send our email. Then I could open up the terminal here inside of my Visual Studio Code, and I will run npm init to initialize this project as a npm project, so we could install node package modules here in it, as the NodeMailer is one of those. So now that we have this, we will have the package.json on the left side, right? This is just the simple JSON. You saw that I just hit enter on each of these questions that npm asked me. So now that we have this package JSON installed, we are able to install our NodeMailer. So I will run npm install NodeMailer, and that is it. This will quickly be installed, and we will now have package lock JSON, which will have one dependency inside, which is the NodeMailer dependency that we just installed. So now that I zoom this a bit, you can see now my code probably clearer. So first thing that we should do with this NodeMailer, well, we should first include it in our app.js. So here I will type imports comment, and I will use const NodeMailer to be equal, and it should require NodeMailer. I have it as suggested, as it is installed in this project. If you wish to run a NodeMailer with some test accounts and test those, there is a simple script that you could run, just basically one line of code to create the test account. So create test account, and here I would create a let test account, and I will set it to be equal to NodeMailer dot create test account. And this create test account method will basically create kinda username and password for this test account, and it will be just used for testing. You could test with these multiple mails that you wish to send with the different services, and that's it basically. But for this example, we won't use the test account, we will use a real account here. So if I wish to use my real account, I should create the sender, well, basically myself here. But in the NodeMailer, the sender is called transporter. So let's create sender/transporter, And how we should create that? Well, we should create the variable here called transporter, and for that I will use node mailer dot create transporter here, not test account but transporter. So transporter is method that will get the object inside. For this object we are basically passing the settings, more informations about this transporter. So first of all, I could pass service. Service could be Gmail. So by this we will use Gmail as a service. There are other types that you could use here. For example, instead of service I could pass the host, and I could use here host as a Gmail or a mail itself, and with the host we will kinda need to set up this a bit differently. We will need to pass the access token, etc., as we will need to do a full authentication of the email itself. But for simple usage we could just pass a Gmail as a service. So the next thing that I should pass is called auth. Auth is the object itself. Auth will be the one that, well, we should pass our Gmail and password here. Not ours, but the Gmail and password from our sender. As I am the sender here, I will pass a user, which will be my email. I will pass my email here, and for the password I will pass also a password. So password should be mine also, and basically with this I am kinda fully authenticated. You will see in the next few steps how we could allow this mail to go basically, and not be the spam email or not go at all because it will have some error. So as we are using Gmail as a service, Gmail could reject our authentication, our authorization, as we are not sending any access token and not kinda accessing the Gmail fully. For that to not happen, we could pass here TLS, which stands for less security, and here we could pass something called reject unauthorized set to false, which will kinda allow us to access the Gmail service fully. As we are creating the email itself, we should hold the mail info. So after my transporter itself, I could here put the comment of mail info, and I will use let mail info to be equal the object. So the mail info itself, well, first should hold from value. From value will be my email, the transporter, the sender email that I am sending basically. So by that, now I should also send this email to someone. So I will set also to value, which will be some email that should get this mail that is sent. And now what we could also pass, but not could but should pass, is a subject, which would be kind of title of the email. So here I would pass testing node mailer, and we could also pass text, which will kind of be the text inside of the email, which will be this is working properly, and that is good. If you wish to send kind of the HTML block of code here, there is the option to send the HTML block of code and use paragraph here, etc. Right? I didn't put the comma here. So you could also set that, not just text itself. But for the simple usage, the text is good enough. Also, if you wish to send the mail to multiple recipients, you could do that by using to and using comma after first email and typing some other email after that, and by this it will send to both of these emails. Next thing that we should do is basically use the transporter to send email itself. So after my mail info I will use send email comment, and now we could use transporter, and on that we have this send email method. Send email method should get two values inside. First one should be the mail info itself, so the mail data that we should pass. The second one will be the callback. This callback will happen once we send the email. So what could happen? first of all, we could get the error back that mail wasn't sent because something happened, and we should see that error and handle that issue. So, and the second value for this callback will be the info itself. So the info will give us back the data regarding the email, when email was sent, the message ID of the email, and much more, including our mail info data in it. So now I could now use arrow function here, and we could do something with this send email. So at this point, this send email is working properly. But what we should do here, we should handle the error itself. So if error basically exists, then we will console.log error and just error value to see what error is. This is obviously not good handling. This is just logging the error, nothing else, but you could handle by popping the error screen on your page or something like that. And else, so if error doesn't exist, then console.log info, and we will just log info here. And that's it basically. At this point we could test our email. So one more thing before we test. Our email won't be sent at all because we are not kinda sending it securely. Basically we are not sending access token, we are not getting the info at the first place from the Gmail kinda to authenticate ourselves. So you should visit your account.google.com/last-secure-apps and allow that, turn that to on. Once you test this, you could turn this to off because it's smart to do that way. But this will give us the option to kinda send our email even though we are not fully authenticated. So now if I wish to run my project here, kinda to run this file, I could use node app.js. This will run the file and also run this send email. It will basically set up everything that we need. So node app.js, hit enter, and what we get back, basically the info itself, the email is accepted, it is not rejected, there is the time, message size, there is the response fully, there is message ID, we could search by this message ID and get the message data also, and there is from and to. So now if I would go to my email inbox, you can see that testing node mailer is here. There is that was the subject, there is this is working properly, which was the text. And with that we are fully finished with this kinda simple explanation of node mailer and sending the email from one email to another. Probably sometime in the future I will create the whole UI with kinda submittable form, and we will submit that data from the form to our email. So make sure to be subscribed to the channel as I'm posting content weekly, and you could soon expect that kind of project. Thank you and see you in the next video.